Today's kind of gotten away from me. Didn't get as much done as I would have liked to, but we made some progress. So uh, I was going to go this evening to a service for a friend, but wasn't feeling great. Got some vehicle stuff going on, and anyways, it just didn't happen. So, anyways, I got the commode installed today. This is going to be a bathroom here, shower, power comes in there. There'll be a wall here, sink for the bathroom, be a sink out here in the shop, be a wall somewhere in here, and door to the bathroom. So, anyways, brought some of the Kydex stuff over, making some sheaths. Got my woodworking table in here. Got the company fitness area, kind of, sort of, whatever. Sandblast cabinet. Just trying to get things rolling. This area, this needs to move out. I'm contemplating putting a workbench, building a in-place workbench across this front wall. Part of me wants it to be modular. The other part of me is like, just put a workbench in here. It's always good to have lots of surfaces. Got sharpening, a bunch of mess here. Still lots of organizing to do. Lots of getting things in the places that they belong. But yeah, slowly but surely. Finished, well, into last week, I kind of finished up these kitchen knives, little steak knives. I just formed this Kydex. Going to finish making some sheaths for these, but just something not too crazy, but to ship them safely. Yeah, pretty happy with how these turned out. Nice, small, little steak knife. So, just before I hopped on here, I just got done pressing these. Got to finish putting the eyelets in them, shaping them, and all that kind of stuff. Today is what? Tuesday. Got a lot of things to get ready for next week. And I'm going to finish, like I said, finish the sheaths up, get these listed on the site. I wish I already had them on the site. And start, finish up on or get back to the stakeholder knives. Brad. Permanent benches until your wall finished up. And then you still have to make, yeah. There's a lot of times, I don't know, there's a lot of times, if you're working on a workbench, you really don't want that workbench to move. Whether if you're, hand planing or just any number of things that you might be doing on a workbench, the more solid it is, the better. I was thinking about that with, I don't remember what I was doing earlier this week or last week. And, I've got some tables with wheels and some without. And even if they don't have wheels, if it's not bolted to the floor or to the wall, it's just not as stable as you'd like it to be sometimes. That's why I'm a huge fan of stuff like a shave horse, something where you're sitting on top of your work and it's not going to go nowhere. So There's advantages and disadvantages to having a workbench that is bolted to the floor, to the wall. So yeah, what I was thinking is I've got a bunch of oak 2x10s that came out of the barn, and I was thinking that would make a real good workbench top. Um, After you get done making it flat and all the work that it takes to make them into a workbench top. So this workbench here, and this workbench here, the top to this workbench is actually, these were cross braces to transmission H structures. So if you're ever driving down the road and you see a big transmission line, it's got the double poles with the cross bracing. That's transmission lines. And we got some of these, I got some of these transmission braces from work, and they just barely went through my drum sander at the time. I sanded them down flat and then made these work tables out of them. And they're nice. They're, I don't even know, probably 3+ inches thick. And then these workbenches here, you know, are just like Grizzly or Husky workbenches. They're not quite as thick, but they're nice, solid workbenches. You know, sometimes having your workbench top 3 or 4 inches thick is nice, especially if you're like going to bolt something down to it or screw something into the top of it. These thinner workbenches, though, are nice sometimes if you're going to clamp to the workbench using squeeze clamps or, you know, whatever. With a really thick top, you about can't get clamps to go on your project and the worktop. But, you know, something like, you know, sometimes I'll clamp stuff to the top surface. And so it's nice having not quite so thick of a workbench. No propped hand tool benches are bolted down. Yeah, there you go. Shalom, how are you? So then I got to I need to get all my vices back on this workbench. I've got vices that bolt on here. We took them off because for a little while we used that when I didn't have a shop, and we moved that table into the house and was using it for just a table, and that was dangerous because my children wanted to keep it. So my wife was saying the other day that my daughter was wanting to put it down at the house, and I'm like, I don't think so. So anyways, I need to find, I'm missing, I need to gather the pieces. Like there's one of the vices for that workbench down there. Um, I'm sure when I moved, I put them all in one place with all the screws and hardware, but then that moved 2 or 3 times since then. So anyways, trying to find everything is sometimes challenging. So, what else? That's about it. It's been, we've had some, it's been a crazy week. We've had several doctor visits with the new baby and mom and everything. So that's kind of cutting into time. lots of driving around, doing doctor's appointments, stuff like that. So let's see, what else? I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Add a Q&A sticker. Try it. No, thank you, YouTube. So got some. The kids have been working. They're going to be at Baker's Creek here in a few weeks. I think it's their spring planting festival. They're going to have a booth. So the boys have been carving spoons and making things. I'm not sure if I'm going to set up and sharpen knives or if I'm just going to sit there and enjoy the event and let the kids work a booth. They're doing it with some friends and stuff. So I might, I'll probably end up sharpening some knives, but I don't know. So yeah, I think that's in a couple, 3 or 4 weeks. And then what other events we got coming up? I'll be in Tennessee for the Living Free in Tennessee workshop. And then Baker's Creek. Then we got Doug and Stacy's. I'll be there for the Friday. And then thinking about putting on something here. I'm not sure when, but I'd like to have some sort of event here this year, small group class or something. So the more infrastructure I get done, the better. So anyways, nothing. I got the heat treat oven brought over. I've got another batch of knives that I started working on. Had a guy want to make a knife, so he came and he's got it ready to heat treat. So we got to get a batch ready to heat treat so he can finish up his knife. And yeah, that's about it. Lots of trying to organize and trying to get work done, trying to adjust to the new baby. New parents are always talking about like, oh, I don't get no sleep, yada yada. And I haven't really, I can't complain. It's not too bad. But sleep has been kind of um, difficult here lately. I got like a little over 4 hours last night and like 3 the night before. So you missed it. I already talked about that. So I would like to get my walls framed up for my bathroom. Um, get the bathroom closed in. The fun part with that is I think I'm going to heat the lines up in the floor one more time and then mark them. Use some, I got a thermal, mark them out on the floor so that when I anchor my floor, when I anchor my wall into the floor, I don't accidentally hit one of my radiant heating lines. So yeah, it's not all the baby's fault. just sleep has been difficult here lately. I've been doing some, running, getting ready for a marathon, and the running and just everything. It's I never had a problem sleeping before. I always said that if you had problems sleeping, you just need to work harder because if you're tired enough, you'd fall asleep. That is not the case anymore. I am definitely tired enough to sleep, but just lay there in bed and stare at the ceiling sometimes. So that's always fun. So, anyways, I'm gonna get back at finishing up these sheaths for these kitchen knives. If you're interested in one, shoot me an email. I'll get them on the website here, and we'll find a good home for these. But I need to do some videos of some testing, chopping, and cutting with this knife. Honestly, the first one I made like this, I had a leather sheath for, and I like just carrying it around in my pocket. With these Kydex sheaths, you can still carry it around in your pocket, but it's kind of nice to have your own personal knife you take around with you. It's a good size. It's not too large, a little small for some big tasks, but I really like this size. I kind of call it like your personal steak knife. And when a knife is sharp, you don't need serrations. So I'm not a big fan of serrated knives. I think that for 99% of the task, having a sharp knife is going to outperform a serrated knife most of the time. So there are a few instances where a serrated knife is good, but I don't like serrated knives. So anyways, you guys have a good evening. I'm going to get back to work on these, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. And if you'd like to, got any suggestions for some content you'd like to see, let me know. I'm hoping to do some tutorial type videos where I talk about knife making, maybe like abrasive selection, belts, just different knife making topics if that's something you guys are interested in. So anyways, see you next Tuesday. This has been Patrick with MT Knives. Have a great night.